Turning now to the Trump administration's latest round of sweeping immigration raids. This time, it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Federal agents raided job sites and parking lots, arresting dozens of people over the weekend as part of what they're calling this Operation Charlotte's Web. The raids were met with protests and objections from local leaders in a city that, well, prides itself on welcoming immigrants. Skylar Henry has more from Charlotte.
Federal immigration agents swept across Charlotte over the weekend, from landscaping gigs to shopping centers, arresting 81 people on Saturday alone. And yesterday, the Department of Homeland Security said a U.S. citizen drove a large van at law enforcement mid-operation, ramming cars and injuring an officer before he was arrested. The immigration raids drew protests in a strongly Democratic city where around 18% of residents were born outside the U.S.
A lot of friends and family and acquaintances who say that they're not going out, they're having their kids who are citizens go and pick up their clothes and food for them.
Customs and Border Protection Chief of Patrol Gregory Bovino uploaded photos of several people who were apprehended, claiming they are in the country illegally and outlining their alleged criminal histories. But in videos posted online, some who were detained said they do have legal status. That includes Willie Isatuno, who was filming as federal agents broke a window of his truck before detaining him Saturday, even though he says he's a citizen. They threw me to the ground, and I always have my papers with me in my bag, he said. They didn't care. I told them many times. Once the agents did look at his documents, Isatuno said he was allowed to walk back to his car.
Any level of coordination with local or state officials has been basically non-existent.
Mark Jarrell is the chair of the Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners.
People are scared. They're living in fear.
Double up.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, the conservative libertarian here, and we're back with another one, man. Yes, sir. We are back again with another video, man. I told you we're coming back stronger than ever, so we're going to keep doing what we're doing and pushing our foot on that gas until the wheels fall off, right? So, we got another video. We're going to be talking about immigration, of course, because it's still a big topic in the news about how the administration is going about their ICE raids and stuff like that, which I honestly am 50-50 on it. I agree with some of it. I agree with not a lot of it. Some of it, it's like, okay, they crossed the border illegally. They should be detained and they probably should be sent back home, depending on why they're here, because most of the time they're only here to seek asylum, but most of their asylum claims aren't necessarily seeking asylum. Like they're not fleeing from persecution. They're just fleeing to live a better life, which I don't necessarily have 100% a problem with that. But at the same time, if you want to come to this country and you want to be able to reap the benefits of what goes on in this country, yeah, you need to follow the process. And yes, the process is strenuous and it costs a lot of money, but it's like, that's what you want. You want to be here, right? I think it should cost anything to want to come to someone else's country and want to take part in the cultural aspects of the country. Like, yeah, you need to pay a fee if you want to live here. You know what I'm saying? Just say it. You know what I'm saying? Because people just have this they have this mind blowing concept that we have endless amount of resources. Like, we just have resources, we just can hand it out to everybody. And it's like, no, we can't. There's a lot of these cities, right? There's a lot of cities that are in budget shortfalls. There are a lot of these, especially liberal cities. There's a lot of these cities that are housing immigrants that are in debt. Like they're losing money. And this is a perfect example. If you go to Chicago with Brandon Johnson, and him leading the charge into the immigration, crisis and trying to protect illegal immigrants in his city. Yeah. They are in a budget shortfall. They are billions of dollars in debt, and this dude Brandon Johnson still wants to spend billions of dollars on illegal immigrants, raise property taxes, all this stuff. So it's like, and this is like, how much are your people who are representing you, your mayors, your senators, your your representatives, like how much are they really doing it for you Like, they're doing it for you. They're supposed to be working for you, not the other way around. So we're gonna get into what is this, MSNBC, Joe Scarborough, and I think it's called Morning Joe, whatever. I don't watch this shit, but MS Now, BS Now, right? They're about to get into it and see what's going on and talk about the whole immigration and stuff like that. And I also have another clip to show you about another incident of a veteran being arrested and sent to a different country because he's illegal. So we're going to get into this right now. Let's go.
Boston University called them. Apparently, he claimed credit for it anyway, saying, I think that there are criminals there. According to people at the car wash, they had work permits, but they were taken away. Nobody's completely been able to sort that out yet. But all because somebody apparently called and said, hey, I think these guys are criminal. Why did he think they were criminal? He didn't have any particular proof of that as far as anybody could tell. He didn't offer any proof of it, and yet somehow 17 police and ICE law enforcement cars showed up at this car wash, parked local protest because people like the car wash, right? And I think that's the kind of thing that's caused a political change for Trump on an issue that otherwise has historically been pretty good for him.
The thing is, it's so inhumane. You're ripping moms out of their cars while they're in lines at school. You're going into, I think it was Montessori school, tearing a teacher out with little kids watching. We already showed the image of, let's see, it's on the Times today. Show the image of young 2-year-old kid being left without his parents. You had Brett Kavanaugh, and just words. If he does not reverse them, words that will haunt him for the rest of his career, saying, "Oh, if you're an American citizen, you have nothing to worry about." They might question you, but then they'll let you go. No, not so. The Chicago Tribune, if you could take us through this next story, the Chicago Tribune this weekend reported on American citizens. Not even people here who are here legally with proper papers. But the Chicago Tribune reported, followed up on ProPublica, I think, that like over 100 Americans have been like dragged out, thrown into cars, American citizens detained, and they've been treated in a terrible way.
Yeah, and so in Chicago, U.S.
I love how he tries to frame this. Oh my goodness, Americans, they're being detained. As if Americans don't get detained every day. As if, literally, this is a personal experience. I'm just going to tell you what happened to me. I was detained not too long ago. And it's crazy because a lot of people will say, oh, the police, they're racist. The police, they're trying to get black people. They're trying to get brown-skinned people. And it's like, well, I got arrested and nothing happened to me. I was very polite. I was honest. I tried to tell them everything that was going on. You know what I'm saying? I truthfully, not hiding a damn thing, not resisting. Okay. That's another big thing. I'm not resisting. I'm being truthful. I'm coming up front, and I was let go. Right? Gave me a ticket. Cool. I got up out of there. I got court in a couple days. Cool. Whatever. Nothing crazy happened to me. Right? But my whole thing is for him, with the way how he's framing this, American citizens. Oh my goodness. They're detaining American citizens and they're treating them so harshly. And it's like, bro, that happens every day. That happens every day. You're not over here complaining about, Billy down the street, being detained because, he happened to be at a scene that a crime was being taken place, and he just happened to fit the description of the car, right? That happens all the time, right? People get pulled over, right? And they fit the description of the car, or they fit the description of the person that they're looking for, and they detain them, and they hold them for a second. They don't bring them to the station or anything. They just hold them in the car. They just wait and to see whether or not everything checks out, and everything checks out. Boom, you're good. You're ready to go. Go ahead about your business, bro. Sorry, we detained you. Right? We're sorry. Right? But they have to follow procedures. They have to follow the law to make sure that they're not letting people just go. Right? And that's the thing. They have to, especially if there's a crowd, right? If there's a crowd of people and people are just running left or right and they don't know who's legal, who's not. Yeah, they're going to detain everybody at that site. They're going to hold everybody at that site, and they're going to be like, okay, what's your name? Can I get an address? Birth certificate, your birth. Driver's license. And they're gonna ask for identifications, right? They're gonna ask, especially if they've been tipped off that there was illegals there. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we can go back and forth on this conversation all day. Like, where's the limit in the line between how long you can be illegal here and whether or not it's okay for you to cross and you to still do, good in the country? Like, we need to, there needs to be a serious conversation about that. And me personally, I'm at the stance where if they were here before Trump's first term, right? If you were here before Trump's first term, you were here before Obama, right? You were here probably Clinton era or even George Bush era, right? If you were here during that time and you're still here and you haven't committed no crimes, you haven't done nothing wrong, I don't see necessarily a problem with that. But at the same time, too, you've been here for so long. You've been here for so long and you haven't got papers, bro. You haven't got papers. Yeah, I have a problem with that. Because it's like, what have you been doing with your time? It's the same way with American citizens who aren't chasing goals, who aren't getting their careers together. They're not chasing money. They're not chasing financial success. You know what I'm saying? They're just living their lives and just, which is, it's cool if that's what you want to do, right? Do you, bro? But I'm just saying, don't be surprised when you turn 40 or 50 and you still don't have shit because you didn't do shit, right? Besides the fact, I just love how he's framing this. And it's another thing, same way how I said about the documentations, right? Like I said, I have another story where a veteran, a Purple Heart veteran, was detained and sent to a different country because he did not have proper documentation. And on top of that, he was a criminal.
And deported from Arizona early this morning, and tonight he's in an unknown country.
He served 2 tours of duty in Iraq, but also spent time in prison here at home. Fox 10's Brian Webb has more.
Immigration activists tell me that Jose Barco was taken from this ICE facility in Florence, Arizona, and flown to another country early this morning. It's the latest chapter in a complicated story. A war hero overseas gets into trouble back home and is now sent away, possibly for good.
I'm heartbroken every day, frankly, because of what's happening in our community.
Immigration activists are angry, fighting for the rights of Purple Heart recipient Jose Barco, deported from this ICE facility in Florence this morning to an unknown country.
We have a veteran who was deported today at 4 in the morning, a Purple Heart veteran.
39-year-old Jose Barco is a Venezuelan national. He came to this country legally as a refugee as a 4-year-old child with his family. Enlisted in the U.S. Army at 17, deployed twice to Iraq. His family says Barco applied for citizenship while overseas, but were told his paperwork was lost. Then Barco received a Purple Heart after being severely injured by an IED explosion.
Jose was on fire as he lifted this truck off of his fellow soldiers and dragged them to safety.
When Barco got back, he began suffering from PTSD and spent 15 years in prison on attempted murder charges after firing a gun into a group of teenagers at a house party in Colorado Springs in 2008. A bullet hit a 19-year-old pregnant woman in the leg.
And what we're asking here for is to bring Jose back, to bring all the deported veterans back to the United States who served our country.
Barco was sentenced to 52 years but released after 15 as a model prisoner.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying, right? I get it, right? He was a veteran. He did his thing. He tried to get his documentations, but his stuff got lost. However the fuck, and that's another thing too. I don't like that excuse. Oh, I've been here for so long and I just don't know where my stuff's at. I don't know. I can't find it. And it's like, nah, brother, that's your responsibility, bro. That is your responsibility. You wanted to be an American citizen, right? You need to do your part and hold on to your shit. And if you lose your shit, you cannot get up in arms with the government trying to take you to court for why don't you have your proper documentations, brother? Why? And then on top of that, he's a criminal. And these people are defending a criminal. He literally shot at people and struck a woman who was pregnant. And they're defending this guy? Imagine if my brother, he went to the military and he did all that stuff. Imagine if he went out his way and he has PTSD, he has problems, he's not getting the help that he needs, and he goes out his way to, he's having a really bad day, and he just ends up shooting up a school, or excuse me, he ends up shooting up like a bank or whatever, which either way is bad, right? But I'm just trying to make it like less visceral for people, because those things do happen very often. I'm sorry, but banks don't happen that often, right? So imagine he just went to go shoot up a bank and he struck somebody, right? Yeah, I'm not defending that man. I'm not defending you, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not defending you. You did that. You did that shit. You have to bear the consequences. And now the Trump administration is in office, right? And they found out, oh, hey, this guy doesn't have proper documentation and he's a criminal? Yeah. Goodbye. Goodbye. And it's just funny. It's honestly just funny, right? That we're defending people who are criminals, right? It's incredible. Let's continue.
Latino heritage say they are being racially profiled during immigrant enforcement operations. Civil rights groups there say Latinos have been detained or questioned solely based on appearance or language, despite providing proof of citizenship. Complaints include stops at workplaces, traffic checkpoints, and public spaces where ICE and local law enforcement have collaborated. Critics warn.
Another thing, too, is just because you're providing proof of a citizenship, that doesn't mean they need to believe you, right? That doesn't mean they're going to believe you, right? Like, especially if you don't speak English. That's another thing, too, is there's so many people in our country, right? In our country who don't even have a lick of the English dictionary in their vocabulary. They don't even know they don't understand what you're saying. And I'm not saying that that's a completely bad thing all the time, but say, for example, if you're working with these people, it can cause a workplace imbalance because you have people in the restaurant or in your workplace who don't speak English, but you're supposed to work with these people. Like that's almost impossible, because we're not going to be able to socialize on a very simple level, because I can't understand you and you can't understand me. And that's another thing that comes, like I said, it causes frictions in the workplace. Because, for example, like he's talking shit on me, but I can't understand that he's talking shit on me. How are we supposed to be cool? Like, how am I supposed to be cool with people that I don't understand? Like make that make sense, America. We need, like, if you come to our country, you better be learning how to speak English, motherfucker. You better be learning, especially right now. You better pick up a damn dictionary and start learning how to speak some English. So that way, when you get pulled over, you understand what they're saying and they understand what you're saying. And then that way they have more of a plausible deniability to be like, all right, he's taking the time to learn English. He has a proper documentation. More than likely, he's not the person that I'm looking for, right? And even if he's the person I'm looking for, I'm still going to detain him, but I'm probably going to let him go because he's probably not the guy that we are really looking for. And that's another thing. Like, they're detaining all these people because, like I said before, they just can't let them run, right? We don't know who's illegal and who's not, so we have to detain you. Detainment, we'll look into it, and then if you're not that, hey, sorry, you can go about your business. But they have to do this. This is a procedure. This is normal practice procedures for anything. Even American citizens get detained for stuff that they didn't do. Like, traffic stops happens all the time. I'm just saying, that's how it goes, bro. You can't be mad when these are the laws on the books. This has been on the books. This isn't something new.
That such profiling erodes trust in law enforcement and violates constitutional protections. Now, in response, several Illinois lawmakers are now calling for investigations and stronger oversight of immigration enforcement practices.
Americans, and the Supreme Court again hasn't ruled on this. They stayed an effort to stop this, but the Supreme Court right now is allowing ICE to stop people based on the color of their skin.
And that flashy high-rise raid that the DHS filmed with helicopters and spotlights, it looked like a Hollywood production, led, per reporting, to no arrests.
And here you have, and again, how un-American, and this, by the way, I'm a small government conservative.
Yep.
I'm a small government conservative.
No, you're not.
I've already shown
You're not.
an example of a student calling a senator saying, I felt uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And the state actually kicking a teacher out of a classroom because of a student calling a senator going, hey, go after this teacher. And now we have one student at Boston University calling, going, hey, there's some brown people. I'm not saying he said this, but it's basically the Supreme Court said, if there are brown people there, that's fine. Go ahead. You can round them up. That is not unconstitutional. Right now, that's the state of play in the United States. And the Supreme Court, the Roberts Court, every day they allow that to go by. They are wrapping themselves up in a decision that, while it may not be as dramatic as the Dred Scott decision, this will haunt them and their legacies, just like evangelical pastors, if they don't follow the example of the Catholic Church and the Pope, it will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Their legacies will be scarred and tarnished.
Man, there's so many falsehoods in a lot of things he said. Like, another thing, he's claiming things that he has no proof on. The only thing he's taking from reference point is because what the Supreme Court said, which I don't even think the Supreme Court is adamantly saying yeah, if they are, and now, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me. The Supreme Court said that if they're black or if they're brown skinned, yeah, sure, go ahead. I don't think that was how the terminology was actually put in the bill. Okay. I don't think that's how it was put, or in the ruling. I don't think that's how that was put. You know what I'm saying? I think if they have reasonable suspicion to believe that you're here illegally, they can do that. It's the same way. It is the same way. If they have reasonable suspicion to believe there's drugs in the car, they're going to take you out the car. These are the rules, right? And I don't find this to be any different to when they're going and rounding up immigrants because they are fitting a profile. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not that they're profiling them racially, is that there's a bunch of them. There's a lot of them, right? And I'm sorry, if you guys are all crowded together with illegals, then you guys are just two peas in a pod. You're literally setting yourself up for failure. If I know that this guy is a criminal, or if I know that the guy that I'm hanging out with has criminal activities, why am I hanging out with that guy? Why would I be associated with him? Like, no, I'm going to keep my distance because I don't want to be wrapped up with you. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We're even still talking about this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't agree with all of it, but I agree with most of it. And it's like, yeah. And like I said, if you're an American citizen and you're doing the right thing, you have nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing. Sure, you might get detained if you're hanging around illegals, but if you have proper documentations, you can prove that you're a citizen, you can prove that you're a resident, you can prove all these things. And on top of that, you speak English. You speak English? Yeah, you're going to slide. You're going to probably pass the test. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below, whether or not this was an L or a W. Let me know, man. Let me know how you guys feel about the immigration thing. It's ridiculous we're still talking about this stuff, but we got to keep talking about it because that's what they're talking about, and people won't let this shit go. So hey, I will catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace.